Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's podcast, English listening practice topic name is How to Master English Grammar Naturally. And today we're embarking on a deep dive into something many of us grapple with, English grammar. For anyone who thinks grammar is about endless rules and dry textbooks, get ready for a delightful surprise. We're going to explore how you can make English grammar your true superpower, not through rote memorization, but through intuitive, natural learning.
Indeed. The material we're examining suggests that mastering grammar doesn't have to be a chore. Not at all. It champions an approach that allows you to soak up the nuances of English without the usual stress, focusing on practical strategies, avoiding common pitfalls, and making the entire process, well, engaging for you, our listener.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Why does grammar truly matter? Because it's often seen as this, barrier, right?
A gatekeeper almost.
Yeah, but the source describes it as the backbone of clear communication, a fundamental element like the rhythm in a song. You need it for things to make sense.
What's fascinating here is a perspective that good grammar helps you sound confident, prevents misunderstandings, and crucially, fosters connection in various contexts. Whether you're crafting an email, delivering a presentation, or even just engaging on social platforms, it's about clarity and impact, not perfection.
Not perfection, that's key, isn't it?
Absolutely. The goal is to understand enough for your words to flow spontaneously, like a casual conversation. You want people focused on what you're saying, not how you're saying it.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
The idea that grammar is a tool, not a prison.
Right.
It's meant to help you express yourself, not to trip you up. And the best part, the source suggests you can learn it the way children do by listening, playing, and experimenting.
Exactly. Forget the flashcards. We're breaking it down into actionable steps, learning like a kid.
So that childhood learning thing is the core principle.
This section delves into the foundational concept. Children acquire language without formal grammar lessons. That's the amazing part. They absorb it by listening, imitating, and through trial and error. Loads of trial and error. The deep dive material advocates for borrowing this instinctive playbook for natural grammar mastery, tapping into what we already know how to do.
Okay, first step then. How do we mimic that? The material says, immerse yourself in English. Like, it's your favorite playlist.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
The more you expose yourself to English, the more your brain picks up on grammar patterns without conscious effort. It's akin to learning song lyrics, hear it enough, and it just sticks. The key is to make this immersion enjoyable, ensuring sustained engagement. You gotta like it, or you won't stick with it.
To illustrate, consider what you might watch or listen to. If you appreciate romantic comedies, binge-watching shows like The Office or New Girl with subtitles can be highly effective for observing dialogue.
Right, you hear how people actually talk.
Exactly. Or for gamers, Twitch streams in English are a solid option. You're getting authentic, often unscripted language. Culinary enthusiasts could explore YouTube channels such as Tasty or Binging with Babish. Loads of practical conversational English there.
So the crucial element is genuine interest.
Absolutely. That genuine interest fuels persistence. It stops feeling like study.
Okay, so how does this tangibly help with grammar specifically?
Well, you'll discern how native speakers naturally employ grammar. For instance, in Friends, you'd hear, I'm going to go grab a coffee, rather than the much more formal, I will go to grab a coffee.
Right, you pick up the contractions, the flow.
Precisely. That's authentic English, inclusive of contractions. A valuable tip is to enable subtitles for visual media to link spoken words with their written grammatical forms. That connection is powerful.
So you see it and hear it simultaneously.
Yes. You can also pause and repeat phrases that resonate, like, I can't believe she said that, to internalize the cadence of the structure.
Makes sense. Okay, what's strategy number 2?
Number 2, read like it's your job, but make it fun.
Reading. A grammar goldmine, the material calls it.
It really is. Books, blogs, articles, even social media posts on platforms like X expose you to authentic sentence structures, punctuation, and word choices constantly. Over time, your mind naturally begins to emulate these patterns, much like a musician developing their ear, as you said before.
So what should you read? Start easy.
Definitely commence with something light and captivating.
Well,
young adult novels, such as The Fault in Our Stars or Harry Potter, are excellent starting points.
Why those?
They're accessible, but still grammatically rich. They're designed to keep you hooked.
Okay. And if novels aren't your thing,
If you're a sports fan, explore articles on ESPN or blogs by your favorite team. Use your interests. On X, follow accounts that post in clear conversational English, like at Grammar Girl or maybe at Merriam-Webster for word nerds.
so find something you genuinely like reading.
That's the core idea. Now, the method of reading is also significant. Don't feel pressured to comprehend every single word.
Right, that can be really off-putting.
It can. Prioritize the flow of sentences. For example, in a phrase like, she couldn't have known about the surprise, just notice the collaborative usage of couldn't and have, how they naturally fit together.
You start seeing those pairings everywhere after a while.
Exactly. You'll progressively recognize these combinations. As a quick exercise, select a short article or book chapter, highlight 3 sentences that sound fluid, transcribe them, and then try to replicate their structure in your own sentences.
Ooh, I like that. So if you see, he was too tired to argue, you could write.
She was too hungry to wait. Same structure, different content. It helps internalize it.
Cool. Okay, number 3.
Number 3, mimic native speakers, like a parrot, in a good way.
Okay. Imitation then.
Imitation serves as a potent learning instrument. When you encounter a phrase or sentence that sounds appealing or natural, adopt it.
How? Just repeat it.
Articulate it aloud, jot it down in a journal, or subtly integrate it into a conversation. This facilitates the internalization of grammar without requiring rote memorization of rules. You use it.
Can you give an example?
Consider an instance. If you hear someone remark, "I wish I'd known about this sooner," try employing "I wish I'd" in your personal communication. Like, "I wish I'd brought an umbrella," or "I wish I'd studied more."
It's like trying on new attire. Observe how it feels.
Precisely. To discover such phrases, listen to podcasts like The Moth for Storytelling or How I Built This for Informal Interviews. Great sources of natural speech.
Or certain YouTubers, maybe.
Yeah, watch YouTubers like Emma Chamberlain, who communicates in a very unforced conversational manner. Make a note of phrases that capture your attention and practice them.
Good tip.
And here's another beneficial tip. Record yourself speaking these phrases using your phone's voice memo application. Play it back to evaluate if your pronunciation and grammar align with the original.
A bit like quality control for your speaking.
Kind of. It's an enjoyable method to refine both aspects.
All right, strategy 4.
4. Right, like you're chatting with a friend.
Okay, so less formal writing practice.
Exactly. Writing provides a superb avenue for grammar practice without the sensation of formal study. Compose emails, journal entries, or X posts as if you're communicating with a close associate.
The key is, don't overthink it.
Avoid overthinking. Simply allow the words to flow. With consistent practice, you'll naturally discern where elements feel off and begin to correct them organically. That self-correction muscle gets stronger.
Can we try a quick exercise for this?
Sure. A brief exercise could involve drafting a short paragraph describing your day. For instance, "Today was wild. I overslept, spilled coffee on my shirt, and still made it to work on time. My boss was cool about it, but I'm ready for a nap."
Okay, sounds very natural.
Then read it aloud. Does it sound like something you would genuinely say? If not, adjust it until it does. For practice, consider starting a journal, digital or physical, or posting on X with an engaging prompt like, "What's the weirdest food combo you've tried?"
So just write more, basically.
The more you write, the more ingrained grammar becomes. And the useful tip is to employ writing aids like Grammarly or ProWriting Aid.
Ah, yes. How do they help the natural learning?
These tools highlight issues, such as the distinction between your and your, and provide explanations, thereby facilitating learning as you progress. It's like having a helpful guide pointing things out gently.
Right, learning from your own writing in context.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got immersion, reading, mimicking, and writing. Now, what about those common mistakes people worry about? The grammar traps.
Ah, yes. Dodging common grammar traps without breaking a sweat. That's the next bit. And the first thing to understand is the nature of mistakes. Even native speakers occasionally encounter grammar stumbles, so it's important not to be discouraged by mistakes. Happens.
That's reassuring.
The material highlights common pitfalls and offers simple strategies to navigate them, again focusing on that natural feel.
Okay, first trap.
Subject-verb agreement.
Right, making the verb match the subject. Singular with singular, plural with plural.
Correct. This involves ensuring your subject and verb correspond in number. Singular subjects like he, she, or it necessitate singular verbs, whereas plural subjects such as they or we require plural verbs.
Like she runs versus they run. Simple enough, usually.
Usually. An illustrative example is she runs every morning. singular, versus they run every morning, plural. An incorrect formulation might be the team are winning, which often sounds incorrect to many ears.
Yeah, the team is winning sounds better.
Yeah, the correct usage is generally the team is winning. A natural way to rectify this is to read your sentence aloud. If it sounds awkward like he walked fast, your auditory sense will often detect it.
Trust your ear again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Adjust it to he walks fast. Trusting your intuition here is often more effective than rigid rule application, especially after lots of immersion.
Okay, next trap.
Misc-based modifiers.
The descriptive words being in the wrong place.
Correct. Modifiers, which are words or phrases that provide descriptive information, must be positioned close to what they are describing, or the meaning can become distorted, sometimes comically so.
Like the famous examples.
An example of an incorrect construction is, I saw a dog running down the street with a fluffy tail.
Yeah.
This phrasing inadvertently suggests the street has a fluffy tail, which is unlikely.
Yeah.
The correct formulation is, I saw a dog with a fluffy tail running down the street. The natural solution involves mentally visualizing the scene. If the sentence conjures an absurd image, reorganize it until it conveys the intended meaning clearly.
Visualize it. Got it.
Speaking it aloud can also help you grasp the intended context and catch the awkwardness.
Okay, makes sense. What about comma chaos?
Number 3, comma chaos.
Commas are tricky. Too many, too few.
They function like natural pauses in spoken language. They clarify meaning and offer the reader a momentary respite. However, their overuse or underuse can lead to confusion. Big time.
The classic example being,
Consider the distinct meanings in let's eat grandma, inviting grandma to dine, versus let's eat grandma, which unsettlingly suggests cannibalism.
a life-saving comma.
Literally. A natural way to approach comma placement is to read your sentence aloud and insert a pause where you would instinctively take a breath. This often indicates where a comma is needed.
Reading aloud again. Seems to be a theme.
It's incredibly powerful. For example, I love pizza, but I'm out of cheese in the plants. Feels natural due to the pause after pizza. A quick rule is to use commas to separate items in a list, like I bought apples, bananas, and oranges, or to set off supplementary information as in my dog, who loves treats, is always hungry.
Okay, breathe where the comma goes. Simple but effective. Next.
Number 4, it's versus its.
Oh, this one gets everyone.
It really does. This particular distinction often confounds learners and native speakers alike. It denotes possession, as in the dog wagged its tail. The tail belongs to it.
Right. No apostrophe for possession here.
Correct. Conversely, it serves as a contraction for it is or it has, as in it's raining, it is raining, or it's been a long day. It has been a long day.
So the apostrophe means something is missing, the I in is or the ha in has.
Exactly. For instance, it's been a long day signifies it has been a long day. The cat licked its paw indicates possession with no contraction involved. A simple method for naturally determining the correct form is to mentally substitute it's with it is or it has.
Test it out.
Yep. If the substitution fits grammatically, then it's is the appropriate choice. If not, opt for it's. For example, if you consider the car lost its tire, replacing it's with it is yields, the car lost its tire, which is clearly incorrect.
Definitely wrong. So it must be it's.
Thus confirming that it's is the proper word. Practicing with phrases like it's cold outside and the tree lost its leaves until it becomes second nature is a valuable tip.
Good trick. What about the other classic pair?
Number 5, your versus your.
Another apostrophe headache.
Another common mix-up involves your and your. Your signifies possession, as in your book, belongs to you. Your is a contraction of you are, as in you're awesome. You are awesome.
Same logic as it's and it's, really.
Pretty much. Compare your smile is great, possession, with you're gonna love this, you are. A straightforward solution is to replace your with you are in your mind.
Test it again.
If it fits coherently, then your is correct. Otherwise, use your. For example, you're amazing becomes you are amazing, which works, so your is appropriate.
Makes sense.
A quick exercise is to write 5 sentences using your and 5 using your and read them aloud to solidify the distinction. Active practice helps.
Okay, one more common trap.
Number 6, who versus whom.
The one people often avoid. Feels a bit old-fashioned sometimes.
This pair can feel a bit old-fashioned, but it becomes simple once you grasp the underlying principle. Use who when referring to the subject, the person performing an action. Use whom for the object, the person receiving the action.
Subject versus object, he versus him.
Exactly. Consider who wrote this book. Here, who is the subject performing the writing? In contrast, to whom did you give the book? Uses whom, because the person is receiving the book. Object of to.
Okay, how to remember that naturally.
A practical way to remember is if you can substitute who with he, she, or they, then who is correct. If him, her, or them fits, then whom is the proper choice.
Let's try who's calling.
Think he's calling, so who is correct?
To whom did you speak?
Think I spoke to him, so whom fits.
Got it. But you said it's not always crucial.
It's worth noting that in casual conversation, who is frequently used for both, so there's no need to overstress this in everyday interactions. Good to know, but don't let it paralyze you.
Phew. Okay. So we've learned how to learn naturally and avoid common traps. What about making practice, well, more fun, less like homework?
Right. Fun ways to practice grammar that don't feel like work. That's the next section.
My favorite section already. First idea.
Keep a grammar journal.
We mentioned journaling earlier, but this is specifically for practice.
Yes. Maintain a daily journal, writing about anything your morning routine, an amusing anecdote, or your current binge-watching obsession. Don't edit as you write. Simply allow your thoughts to flow. Later, review it and refine anything that feels incorrect.
So free writing first, then self-correction.
Exactly. For example, if you write, yesterday I go to the store and buy some snacks, reading it aloud will help you identify that go should be went and buy should be bought. Correct it and proceed.
And the tip was to make it feel special.
A beneficial tip is to use an appealing notebook or an application like Notion to make journaling a more special experience. Set a timer for just 5 minutes and write whatever comes to mind. Keeps it manageable.
Okay, easy enough. What else?
2. Play with language apps.
Like Duolingo and others.
Applications such as Duolingo, Grammarly, or Quizlet transform grammar practice into an engaging activity. They pinpoint errors and provide clear explanations in a supportive manner, allowing you to learn without feeling judged.
How best to use them?
To effectively use these tools, try Duolingo's rapid lessons for sentence structure, or Grammarly's browser extension to catch errors in your emails. Quizlet offers flashcard sets for challenging grammar points, like irregular verbs.
Little and often.
A practical tip is to establish a daily goal, perhaps 10 minutes on an app, to cultivate a consistent habit without becoming overwhelmed. Gamification helps.
Makes sense. Third fun way.
Talk to yourself in English.
Haha. Okay, I think you mentioned this briefly before. Narrate your life.
Narrate your day in English, either vocally or mentally. This is a low-pressure way to practice grammar and enhance fluency simultaneously. You're producing language constantly.
Like, okay, now I'm chopping onions. Oh dear, my eyes are watering.
Exactly. For instance, you might say, I'm making breakfast now. Oh no, I dropped an egg. Wish I'd been more careful. Notice how you naturally employ contractions. I'm, I'd, and past tense verbs. Dropped.
Without thinking about the rules.
Precisely. A helpful suggestion is to integrate this practice into routine tasks like cooking or walking. While it may initially feel a bit unconventional, it's a remarkably effective method for building confidence. No one else needs to hear.
True. Okay, number 4.
Join online communities.
Get social with your grammar practice.
Engage in online spaces where you can write and receive feedback. Post on X, participate in Reddit threads, such as English Learning, or comment on blogs. Native speakers often offer gentle corrections or affirm your good grammar.
So you get real feedback on real communication.
Exactly. An example. Post on X, just tried sushi for the first time, love it. Any tips for making it at home? If you make an error, someone might reply, loved it, not love it, since it's past tense. Learn from the feedback and continue.
And the tip for this?
A pro tip is to follow hashtags like #LearnEnglish or #GrammarTips on X for concise lessons and community support. Bring the learning to your feed.
Nice integration.
Yeah.
And the last fun practice method?
5. Rewrite song lyrics or movie quotes.
Ooh, creative. How does that work?
Take a beloved song or movie quote and rephrase it with your unique twist. This allows you to experiment with grammar while maintaining a creative edge. You're playing with structure.
Example, like take a Taylor Swift lyric.
Consider an original lyric from Taylor Swift. I don't know how it gets better than this. Your adaptation could be, I don't know how it gets crazier than this.
Same structure, different vibe.
You're practicing the same grammatical structure, but personalizing it. A useful suggestion is to share your rewrites with friends or on X for feedback. It's an enjoyable way to connect and learn.
Love that. Okay, so lots of ways to make practice enjoyable. Now, what about the mindset? You mentioned embracing mistakes earlier.
Yes, Embrace mistakes as your secret weapon. This is crucial.
Here's a crucial insight from the material. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes. People might say, "I've seen that movie" instead of "I've seen that movie," or confuse there and there. The distinguishing factor. They don't allow these errors to impede them.
Exactly. The difference lies in perspective. Mistakes are not failures, but rather clues indicating areas for improvement. The deep dive encourages a mindset shift where errors become mini teachers.
Mini teachers, I like that.
Each one highlights a gap you can address. A practical approach is to list your top 3 recurring mistakes, for example, using good instead of well, and consistently practice the correct version in several sentences daily for a week.
Focus practice on your own common errors.
This dedicated practice will help solidify the correct usage. For instance, if you write, "She sings good," recognize the error in practice. "She sings well," "He dances well," "They play well." Soon, well will feel completely natural.
Retraining your brain, basically.
That's exactly it.
Okay, so we've covered the basics, common traps, fun practice, and mindset. What about taking it to the next level for people feeling more confident?
Ah, yes. Leveling up. Advanced grammar hacks for when you want to refine further.
Hack number 1.
1. Learn by teaching.
Explain it to someone else.
When you're feeling more confident, here's a powerful technique. Explain a grammar rule to a friend, or even to yourself in a mirror. The act of teaching compels you to grasp the rule thoroughly. You have to understand it to explain it.
True, like explaining why we use contractions.
For example, articulate why "I'm going to the store" uses "I'm" rather than "I am." You'll recognize it pertains to contractions sounding more natural in casual conversation. A helpful tip is to record a short video explaining a rule, like the distinction between who and whom, and then review it to assess its clarity.
Checking your own understanding by teaching. Clever. Number 2.
2. Analyze songs, poems, or speeches.
Going deeper than just reading or listening.
Select a song, poem, or speech and meticulously dissect its grammar. Investigate why the writer opted for "I'll" instead of "I will." Observe how commas are utilized to establish rhythm and flow. Look at the choices the writer made.
Like in famous speeches.
In Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech, for example, pay close attention to sentences like "we cannot be satisfied." The structure is straightforward yet impactful. Subject, we, verb, cannot be, an adjective, satisfied.
Simple but powerful.
Endeavor to construct your own sentences with a similar cadence. We must stay focused. Another idea is to choose a song you particularly enjoy, like Billie Eilish's "Bad Guy," and analyze a specific line, such as "I'm that bad type." Consider why "I'm" is used instead of "I am." It's often about creating that casual, rhythmic feel.
Understanding the why behind the grammar.
Exactly. It's about style and impact.
Okay, advanced hack number 3.
3. Experiment with sentence structure.
Playing with sentences.
Take a simple sentence and creatively alter it to introduce more complexity or a distinct style. This practice helps you internalize how grammar can fundamentally shift the mood and impact of a sentence. Become more flexible.
Like taking "I love coffee."
Begin with a basic sentence like "I love coffee." Then embellish it. "Coffee, oh how I adore its rich, bold flavor." In this process, you're practicing word order, comma usage, and the integration of descriptive vocabulary.
How to practice this systematically.
A practical approach is to generate 5 different versions of a single sentence, each employing a unique structure. You could even share your preferred version on a platform like X to gather other perspectives. See what resonates.
Cool. And the final advanced hack.
4. Tackle tricky tenses.
Verb tenses. Always a challenge.
Verb tenses can indeed be challenging, but they become more manageable when observed within context. Focus on one tense at a time, such as the present perfect, as in "I have just finished." Don't try to learn them all at once.
How to practice the present perfect, for example.
Practice the present perfect by writing about recent actions. "I have just eaten lunch, he has just called me, we have just started learning." A practical tip is to watch a movie scene and describe the events that have already occurred using the present perfect. The hero has just defeated the villain.
Contextual practice again? Seeing it in action.
Precisely. Makes it much less abstract.
Okay, fantastic. Loads of strategies there. What about resources? Books, websites, apps?
Right. Resources to fuel your grammar journey. The deep dive highlighted quite a few useful ones.
Let's start with books. Any fun ones?
The material highlights several engaging books. Eats, Shoots and Leaves by Lynn Truss, described as a humorous guide to punctuation that is anything but dull. Makes punctuation interesting.
Always a bonus.
Also, The Elements of Style by Strunk and White, a concise classic guide to clear writing. very famous, very direct.
Well, classic for a reason.
And Woe Is I by Patricia T. O'Connor, which offers a fun, contemporary perspective on grammar for everyday use. More modern and relatable.
Good mix. Websites.
For online resources, the Purdue OWL Online Writing Lab is a valuable, free, and detailed grammar guide suitable for all levels. Very comprehensive.
I've used that one. It's great.
Grammar Girl, Quick and Dirty Tips, provides short, friendly articles on challenging grammar points, easy to digest. And Cambridge English offers free quizzes and lessons for grammar practice. Interactive stuff.
Perfect. YouTube channels.
On YouTube, English Addict with Mr. Steve offers conversational grammar lessons. Very natural style. Grammar Girl provides concise video tips. And English with Lucy delivers clear, engaging lessons with a distinct British flair. Good variety.
Podcasts for listening practice.
The Deep Dive also suggests relevant podcasts. The Illusionist delves into language quirks, including grammar, in an entertaining way. Fascinating stories behind words.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Grammar Girl Quick and Dirty Tips offers bite-sized lessons for busy learners. Good for commuting. And Better at English features informal conversations between native speakers that model natural grammar. Real conversations.
Excellent. And finally, apps.
Finally, useful apps include Grammarly, which identifies mistakes and explains them in real time. Very handy. Duolingo gamifies grammar and vocabulary practice, keeps it fun. And Quizlet provides flashcards for memorizing difficult rules, such as irregular verbs. Good for drilling specific points.
Wow, a great list of resources. Okay, last section. What if people get stuck? Troubleshooting common problems.
Yes, troubleshooting. What to do when you're stuck. Important to address this.
First problem. I keep making the same mistakes. We touched on this, but what's the core advice?
The solution here is to maintain that mistake journal. Document errors you frequently make, such as saying I seen instead of I've seen, and consistently practice the correct version daily for a week. This repetition will help it become ingrained. Focus on your specific issues.
Makes sense. Problem 2. Grammar rules confuse me. Too many rules.
The advice is to focus on one rule at a time, perhaps commas or past tense. Incorporate it into 5 sentences each day until it feels natural, then proceed to the next rule. Don't overwhelm yourself. Break it down.
One step at a time. Good advice. Final problem. I'm shy about speaking or writing. Fear of making mistakes in public.
Start modestly in low-pressure environments. This could involve texting a friend in English or posting anonymously on a platform like X. Build confidence gradually, step by step. Little wins build momentum.
Okay, fantastic advice. So, to wrap up,
Well, the main message is,
you've got this. Mastering English grammar naturally, truly involves immersing yourself, finding the joy in the process, and allowing your brain to do the significant work. Surround yourself with English. Emulate native speakers. Write as if you're casually conversing. And don't fret over mistakes. They are simply stepping stones toward fluency.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, grammar is not about achieving absolute perfection. It's fundamentally about fostering connection and clear communication. The more you engage in practice, the more your unique voice will emerge, expressed in impressive, fluent English. This raises an important question for you, our listener. What will be your immediate next step in this journey?
Yeah, what's one thing you'll do today or tomorrow? Perhaps it's settling in to watch an episode of Stranger Things with subtitles, crafting a lighthearted X-post, or singing along to your favorite song while actively noticing the grammatical structures. Whatever it is, make it authentically yours. Remember, continuous learning is a rewarding path, and your engagement is part of what makes these deep dives so special. If you found this deep dive valuable, we encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel to keep the learning vibe going.